why it feels like all these celebrities are all of a sudden are getting called out on their BS. Like, what is going on? Because we even have beloved celebrities like Oprah and Drew Barrymore who are just getting like dragged on the internet. Here's my theory. So what we're seeing is the end of the narrative of the benevolent billionaire or the emphatic multi-millionaire. The real battle that's happening in our country is we are in a class war. So it is the corporations and the billionaires versus the working class. That's really the real war and struggle that is happening right now. Because we have a situation where like 3 or 5 people have more wealth than the entire bottom half of the United States. Over 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. In the month of July, the average American household was paying $709 more than 2 years ago on basic living things like food, car insurance, utilities, cable, stuff like that. Like $709 more. Also, let's talk about wages. The federal minimum wage is still $7.25. 14 years later, that is a poverty wage. And then we have people who are working full time, 40 hours, and yet are still needing assistance like SNAP or Medicaid. People working full time in the wealthiest country in the world should not be having to rely on government assistance if they're working full time. But if their wages are only $7.25, nobody can live on that. Like, no one. So now we see these celebrities coming on and trying to show off like how benevolent they are or how like emphatic they are. Like, no, I understand your pain. Like, let's help the people. And it's like, you know what we would actually prefer is how about y'all pay your fair share of taxes? And how about y'all stop exploiting workers? This is another reason why we're seeing also all these strikes happening, because workers have had enough. They're now organizing and mobilizing and getting together and going, pushing back, and they're like, no, we're not taking this exploitation anymore. You, the owners, the shareholders, the CEOs, like corporations, billionaires, all of you need to be treating us better. We need livable wages. We need health care. We need worker protection. We need childcare, stuff like that. Like, we deserve to thrive as well. The level of corporate greed has gotten out of control. So this narrative that, oh, well, people are just mad because, we're just hating on rich people because we're just jealous and we hate them. It's like, no, we don't hate you because you're wealthy. We're sick and tired of the exploitation and you making money at our expense as we suffer. Again, living paycheck to paycheck, struggling for just basic survival, like food, transportation, healthcare, childcare, education. Nobody in the wealthiest country on earth should be suffering like this. And childhood poverty should not exist in the United States. It shouldn't exist. Or things like school lunch debt should not exist in our country, and yet it does. So when we see these celebrities coming on, like an example, Oprah recently is asking working class people to help out the people of Maui when she and The Rock have a combined wealth of over $3 billion, and the two of them could solve that whole problem on their own or get help from their equally wealthy billionaire and millionaire friends. They could have easily solved that problem instantly just among themselves, right? Instead, they're asking working class people who are suffering for money. And the pushback was immense. Same thing we saw with Drew Barrymore, right? When she's like, my show is important and I'm trying to help people have something to feel, good about to help them get through the tough times. And people are like, no, you're being a scab. No, that's what you're doing. And no, we're not gonna have it. No, we're not. So now these celebrities are now experiencing pushback that they have never seen before. And again, a lot of it is driven because the working class is suffering and we're just not gonna take the exploitation anymore. So famous people, wealthy people, take note, okay? The narrative of the benevolent billionaire or the emphatic multimillionaire, that narrative isn't working anymore. Take note from your peers who've just gotten dragged and blasted on the internet.